One afternoon Mr. Goldfinch saw a tiny green-brown bird on a sweetbrier bush, and as he watched her he thought her the most beautiful creature he had ever seen. She had such a dainty way of picking out the seeds, and gave such graceful hops from one twig to another. Then Mr. Goldfinch fluffed up his feathers and swelled out his throat and sang her such songs as he had never sung before. He did not want her to speak to anybody else, and yet he could not help her doing so. The goldfinches always go together in crowds until they have homes of their own, and at this time they were having concerts every morning. He showed her where the finest dandelion seeds could be found, and one bright and sunshiny day she became Mrs. Goldfinch, and they went together to find a place for their home.
Hello from the woods. I just had a really nice time sitting in one of my favorite cafes and knitting on my Terpsichore scarf for a few hours. My husband has taken our daughter out for the day to give me a break, which is so nice. I haven't been feeling the best this past week, and it was nice just to recharge a little bit, take some time to be slow, reflective, work on the meditative practice of knitting, and then also just working on something for myself, because I've done a lot of gift knitting recently, and that's wonderful and beautiful, but I just felt like I needed to put those down today and work on something that was just for me. So that was really nice. I'm having a walk in the woods now, and I am by myself in the woods, but I have my bear spray with me, which I always have in my fanny pack in the front anytime that I'm in the woods at all, for bear purposes, but also for human purposes. So it'll work on any sort of predator. Yeah, so I have that with me, and I feel secure in that, in knowing that I have that. Yeah, I just wanted to say hi from the woods. Today is the 11th of November, which means it's Remembrance Day here in Canada. I know that that's true for all Commonwealth countries. We celebrate Remembrance Day today, and that's just remembering our veterans, remembering war, taking time to be thankful for peaceful times. Yeah, it's a beautiful, reflective time. I actually really like the 11th of November, and I like this time of year. I like reflection and memory and giving thanks. So that's all part of it. Anyhow, this is my update from the woods. Sorry, I thought I heard someone behind me, but that was not the reality. Okay. I finished my Terpsichore scarf, and I love it. I feel like it's very Christmassy. When I wear it, I feel like Mr. Tumnus. But it's beautiful. I really, really like it. It has gorgeous cable work, just a simple cable over and over again, and it wasn't too challenging. It was easy enough to memorize the pattern. Yeah, I did make some modifications to it in the end. In the diagram, it shows that you're increasing, and then there's a point, and then you start decreasing. Whereas I decided to just knit straight in the pattern without increasing or decreasing for a while until I reached my halfway point in how much my yarn weighed. and then I calculated from there when I needed to start doing my decreases. So it's, I'll show you the shape of it. Yeah, it's less of a point and it's more rounded on the edge, because, yeah, I just held that cable there for a while before starting to decrease. And I really like the way it turned out. One thing that was really surprisingly wonderful about it was that in the end it measured to be 105 centimeters in length. And I was hoping for a little bit more length than that, so I thought maybe the blocking out process would give me a bit more. But it gave me 20 extra centimeters, so I went from 105 centimeters to 125 centimeters post blocking. It's really beautiful. So I've worn it only once so far from post blocking, and I can wear it as like a little mini shawl kind of over my shoulders. I was thinking about putting like a pin or something here. Like, would that be cute if I put like a little shawl pin there and then wore it kind of over my shoulders in a neater way than, well, I don't know. It's kind of, it's giving Little Women a little bit, which is nice. So it's my Mr. Tumnus and Little Women Terpsichore scarf. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But it's beautiful and Christmassy, and it's mine, and I feel really proud of it. I feel proud that I did some cable work, even though I don't find cable work like super challenging. I just find it really annoying and fidgety. So I'm really proud of myself for pulling through and doing this whole project, to be honest. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. And it's today, the 21st of November. It's the 21st of November, so we are really going into Christmas and winter now, and saying goodbye to fall. There are some leaves still on the trees, and I'm holding on to that, but we're definitely in that transition. So saying goodbye to autumn this past week has been a little bit hard, but I've been watching the snow coming down on the mountains, like the snow line going further and further down towards town, and I absolutely love that. That's one of the great joys about living here. I actually ended up casting on another Christmassy knit 2 days ago. My husband and daughter and I took a trip to Vancouver a few days ago, and I went to Wet Coast Wools in Kitsilano, and I'd never been there before, and I really like the way that shop is laid out. It's a very small shop, but they only have one of each skein out on display, and then you bring the one you want up to the front, and then they get the amount that you need from the back. So it feels really not cluttery for the space that they have in the front. They also have beautiful big windows, which makes it so it's easy to see the color of the yarn properly. Anyway, I just really appreciated the way that they put out their store. So if you're in Vancouver or near the area and you haven't been to Wet Coast Wools, I would highly recommend. And they had some really beautiful different types of yarn. And I picked up some Cascade 220, which I'd never worked with before, but have heard a lot about. So I chose the color red. It's just red. They have a lot of colors. They didn't have the whole color selection at the store, obviously, but they did have a lot of them, and they had 2 different reds, and I chose just red out of those. And I started knitting my daughter a Christmas sweater, so here it is. Yeah, I started it just a couple days ago, so the main color is the Cascade 220, and then the contrast color is this white, which I picked up in Pemberton when we were in Whistler a few weeks ago. I don't think I mentioned that, actually. Yeah, it was really cool. We went to so just past Whistler, to the east of Whistler, there's a town called Pemberton, and there's a really famous like farm shop / coffee shop there called North Arm Farms, and we walked in to grab lunch, and I saw that they had their very own wool, which they spin in Pemberton. The sheep are from the farm, and anyways, I bought myself a skein, and I'm using it for the contrast color. I'll have a lot left of it, but I'll probably just continue using it for contrast colors for different colorwork sweaters in the future. But yeah, isn't this gorgeous? This pattern is called Little Treeline by Quince & Co., which I'd never knit any of their patterns before, but I found this one on Ravelry when I was looking for a kind of heavier weight Christmas sweater for kids. And so I'm knitting this on 4.5, 4.5 millimeter needles. So it's knitting up really quickly. Usually most of the baby knits that I do are like on 3 or 3.5. So it's knitting up quickly. Oops. And I really like the pattern so far. I like the colorwork motif. I like that it's Christmassy, and I think she'll look really sweet in it. I'm knitting size 2 years because I want it to last for 2 Christmases. So this Christmas, I think what I'm going to do is just end the sleeve length a little bit shorter, and then after the season, I'll knit the sleeves a bit longer so that it fits her for next year. I don't mind the body length being longer, so it covers her bum a lot more for this year. But the sleeves are going to be kind of fidgety and annoying, especially if you're trying to put a jacket over and you have to roll up the sleeve a bunch. So I think I'll just knit them shorter for this year and then go back in and knit it longer after the season. And I think it will work out really well. She'll definitely be like swimming in it this year, but she won't care, and she'll look really cute in it. So yeah, that's my little Christmas sweater update. This transition between fall and winter that we always inevitably go through is such a bittersweet time. I think I am always so saddened to see all the leaves down and the colors gone, but so excited to smell frost in the air and to see the snow line come down the mountain and to watch the geese migrate. And there's just so much beauty in November. Yeah, it's just a gorgeous time of year, and I don't want to let it pass me by without taking the time to just slow down and enjoy where we're at. And that's one of the most beautiful things about knitting, is just being able to slow down, enjoy things slowly, and enjoy the process of something. And I think knitters in general, just we live more in tune with the seasons, I think, because of knitting. Also, like, I'm a gardener, and so that helps me slow down and live more in tune with the seasons. But I just think that, how sad it is to go through life without really paying attention to what's going on around you. And I just never want to be in a place in my life where I don't appreciate what's going on in nature. So yeah, that's my little spiel about that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the support. Thanks for all the lovely comments on my last video regarding some of my health things and all the well wishes. This community is beautiful, and I'm really glad to be a part of it. So, and thank you for your prayers.
If I'm gonna make them in like crazy colors, or if I just want to make them in a color palette that suits us. Project that I want to design, but I haven't. I talked about.
I am finally almost finished switching up the knobs on the knitting cabinet that I thrifted last month or the month before. And so I bought 4 different knobs to go at like the mixed look. But the 4th one that I bought, which was this one, it was kind of a plain beige one, actually doesn't fit in the hole there. So it was gonna look like that, but it doesn't fit. So today I went out to a different store and I picked up a new knob, and I found one that says sweaters. So I'm gonna put that one on. It looks kind of funky, all 4 of them together, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm kind of here for that. I like it. I think it's very fitting for my knitting cabinet to be a little bit eclectic and not so matchy-matchy, because I've got all sorts of not so matchy-matchy clutter in my knitting cabinet, and I think it just suits the space really well. So I'm going to put that on and see how it looks. All right, there she is down there.
kind of cute, kind of wacky, kind of tacky. I like it.